Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. In the field of law enforcement, there are many instances in which more than one agency is needed to protect the public against a specific criminal. 13 years ago, Tom Thornton was convicted in another state of the murder of his partner, Harold Sylvester, and sentenced to 20 years in prison. The motive was robbery. More than $500,000 in cash and securities was taken from the safe and never recovered. 10 days ago, with time off for good behavior, Tom Thornton was released.
You Thornton?
That's right.
I'm Matthews, Highway Patrol. The parole officer said I'd find you here.
Where'd you expect to find me? London, Paris, Rome?
Well, with $500,000, a man can go anyplace.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, then play it dumb. Let's go.
Well, let's go where?
You're square with the state for killing a man, but you're still on the hook for that money that was missing at the time of the murder.
Oh, we're back to that again.
Yeah, we're back to that. $500,000 in cash and securities. That's not easy to forget.
You're talking in riddles.
About 8 days ago, the security started to show up. They checked with the original list.
Well, I didn't turn them in.
Let's find out. Come on.
Word Center City that you picked up Thornton. They want you to find out if he has an accomplice.
Okay, we can talk in my office.
I've got nothing to say.
Maybe you'll change your mind. Sit down. The Center City Police tell me you can go back for another 7 years.
For a murder I didn't commit.
I'm not here to argue what a jury said. Now listen to me. You can play it tough, or you can be a nice guy and answer some questions. It's your play.
I'm sorry. What do you want to know?
You got to your brother's place, about 10 days ago, is that right?
That's right.
Have you been to Linwood since you got out?
No.
Freeport?
No.
Amityville?
I haven't been to Amityville, Freeport, or Linwood.
Tell me, you know a fellow by the name of Herbert Stewart?
Never heard of him.
Maybe you know him under another name.
Now you're talking in riddles again. I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Securities who were missing at the time of the murder started turning up in Freeport, Amityville, and Linwood. They were turned in by a guy by the name of Herbert Stewart.
And you think I'm Herbert Stewart?
Either that or he was an accomplice in the original murder.
I didn't have an accomplice. I didn't murder my partner, and I don't know what happened to the money. I'm innocent. Oh, I know. You've heard that many times before from many people. But I am innocent.
Can I speak to you a minute?
Yeah. What?
Another teletype from Center City. More of the missing securities have turned up for redemption. Right here in Hempstead at the City Bank.
Tell him I'll be right over. Why does a crook always think he's smarter than the law?
Because the laws are administered by people, and people make mistakes. They made a mistake in my case. I'm not a crook, and I'm not a murderer. No matter what 12 men on that jury said.
Sorry, Mr. Thornton, I can't buy that. You kept your mouth shut for 13 years, just so you could collect $500,000. Let's see, roughly that figures to about, $70,000 a year for the time you were in the pen. $35,000 if you had a partner. That's a fair country salary.
13 years ago, my salary as president of the company was $50,000 a year. Why should I take a cut in salary, plus a conviction for a murder I didn't commit?
We're going to find that out. Come on, let's go.
Yes? Oh, send them in. Come in, gentlemen.
I'm Dan Matthews. This is Mr. Thornton.
Sit down.
That's all right, thanks.
I understand from Officer Morris that you're here in regards to those missing securities.
Yeah, that's right. Do you know Mr. Thornton here?
I don't believe so. Are you a customer of this bank?
No?
What about the man that redeemed the securities?
Well, that was Herbert Stewart.
Is he a customer of the bank?
No.
How can you redeem securities for a man that's not a customer of the bank, a man you don't even know?
Well, those were call bonds. They're negotiable like money is. They can be turned in at any bank.
I see. How well do you know Stewart?
Not very well. I only met him once. Although I did have several phone conversations with him before he came in.
Describe him, will you?
Oh, a small, dapper man, bald, about 53 or 4, 140 pounds, lame in the left arm, some kind of paralysis.
You sure it wasn't his right arm?
I believe it was.
And did he have a little thin mustache?
Yes, he did.
Anything else?
No, I only saw him once. That was 2 days ago.
If you remember anything else, let me know, will you?
I certainly will.
You must be Dan Matthews. I'm Pearsall of Center City.
Glad to know you.
Figured you were much too smart for this, Thornton.
In what way, Sergeant? Or is it Lieutenant?
It's Lieutenant. And I figured you'd wait a little while before you started cashing any of those securities that we couldn't find.
How did you ever make Lieutenant? Because of the work you did in my case?
What happened at the bank?
Got a description of his accomplice, Herbert Stewart.
Good. None of the other bank managers was able to give us too good a description.
APB on Herbert Stewart. He's kind of a dapper guy, about 5'3", 5'4", 140 pounds. He's bald and got a very thin mustache. Well, this is important. He's got a lame right arm.
Recognize the description, Lieutenant?
Are you sure?
That's the description Carter at the bank gave us.
I don't believe it.
Do you want to tell him, Lieutenant? Or shall I give him the good news?
Well, that description fits Harold Sylvester. The man Thornton was supposed to have murdered 13 years ago.
What's the angle?
I told you I was innocent. I told everybody I was innocent, but nobody'd believe me. Now do you believe me, Lieutenant?
How'd you get a conviction for murder without the body?
We had all the evidence of murder. Bloodstains, dentures, fingernail. And we found $5,000 worth of missing securities in Thornton's basement.
What do you plan to do now, Lieutenant?
Why don't you go back to your brother's place? We'll find Stewart.
You mean you'll try to find Stewart? Well, let's call him Sylvester. Well, I'll be looking for him, too. And when I find him, I'm going to kill him.
You're what?
And there's nothing you can do about it. Because 13 years ago, I was convicted for the murder of Harold Sylvester. I paid the price for my crime, and I figure the state owes me this murder.
Look here, Thornton. You're not living in a jungle. There are laws that'll take care of Sylvester.
Nothing you can say will make me change my mind. When I find him, I'm going to kill him.
Why don't you take it easy? We'll find him. And he's liable for the same punishment you received.
How about giving me back the 13 years I lost?
You can collect damages.
From Sylvester? How much can he have left if he's forced to cash securities?
I'm not going to let you kill a man, Thornton.
I'm going to get Sylvester. I don't want damages. I don't want money. All I want are my 13 years back. And my friends. And my business and my reputation and all my dreams of tomorrow. Can you get them for me?
I'm going to stop you, Thornton.
I knew Sylvester for 15 years. I know what he'll do in any situation. I know what he's doing in this one. So long, gentlemen.
Put a tail on him right now.
I've been on the force for 25 years. The one nightmare I've always had was sending an innocent man to jail.
Yeah, I know how you feel, but... Well, look at it this way. It's your job to find evidence. The DA's to build a case. The jury to bring in a verdict and the judge to pass sentence.
It was my evidence that built the case. Every time Thornton yelled that he was innocent, we yelled back that he was a liar. We called him the brain because we could never collect the rest of the securities and the money. But now I don't know anymore.
We're going to have to find Sylvester before Thornton really becomes a murderer. Come on.
The first report we received of someone cashing securities was here, Linwood. 24 hours later, Freeport. 2 days later, Amityville. And today, here, Hempstead.
Those towns cover an area about 1,000 miles in 3 states. So wait a minute.
Oh, you saw that too?
Yeah, if Stewart or Sylvester's got a base of operation, he moves out from there. That should put him right about here.
Glen Falls.
Yeah. Contact Glen Falls. Tell him a man answering Stewart's description might be living in that area. Then get in touch with Center City. Have him get a photo of Sylvester over to Glen Falls right away. Tell him I'll be there in about 2 hours. You got it? Right.
Officers sending an innocent man to jail now face Detective Pearsall, plus a new added terror. The terror of knowing that Harold Sylvester, alive, could legally be killed by Tom Thornton.
2371 to 2150.
2150 by.
Suspect still on the bus.
Keep him inside. Don't lose him. I want to know where he gets off. 10-4?
10-4.
Lieutenant Pearsall from Center City.
How do you do?
Anything on Sylvester or Stewart?
No, not yet. We've checked the post office, bank, local stores. No one recognizes the description.
How large is Glen Falls?
According to the latest census, slightly over 4,000.
We've got to get to him before Thornton does.
He may not even be in Glen Falls.
Yeah.
Highway Patrol, Clark. Just a second. It's for you.
Oh, thanks. Matthews. What's that? Tell him to keep at it. Right. Thornton just got off the bus in Glen Falls. Now, if Stewart's not Sylvester, he's got to be an accomplice. And I don't buy the idea that Sylvester's alive.
That description fitted Sylvester too strongly. I'm convinced now that we're looking for Sylvester.
Why did Thornton get off the bus at Glen Falls at this particular time, and what makes him think Sylvester's here?
Thornton's no fool. Remember, he and Sylvester built a big business out of nothing in less than 5 years. You don't do that on luck. He could have figured Sylvester's whereabouts from the map, just as we did.
Maybe if Sylvester owns a car, a garage in this area might give us a lead.
I still don't get it. For 13 years, he stayed undercover. Now he comes out into the open. Why? Does he think we'd forget about the securities and the money?
Maybe he thinks we'll tie the redemption of the securities in with Thornton. Figures he's safe.
2371 to 2150.
2150 by.
Thornton's canvassing real estate offices and asking if anyone answering Sylvester's description has bought or rented a hilltop house.
Stay with it.
10-4.
2150 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
Check the realty board. Get a list of all real estate brokers in this area. See if anybody answering Sylvester's description has bought or rented a hilltop house recently. 10-4?
10-4.
Of course. Hilltop houses. Sylvester was named the king because he always wanted to stay on top of the heap. His house in Center City is on top of the highest hill. The company building is the tallest in town, and Sylvester has the penthouse suite.
You asked me if I'd sold or rented a hilltop house. Well, this being a one-man office, I advertise all my listings in the local paper. Well, about a year or so ago, I had a listing for a hilltop house, and I rented it the day the paper came out.
Who'd you rent it to?
Oh, wait a minute. Now, let me check my file. Here it is. Mr. Herman Sawyer.
You remember what he looked like?
You've got me. This chap called on the phone and said he'd rent it. And I asked him if he didn't want to see it first. He said no. If it's the highest hilltop house, he wanted it. And then he said he'd send me a check for the year's rent in the mail. And he wanted me to go and open the house and leave a lease there for him to sign, which I did. I got the signed lease in the mail the next morning. And he still lives there. The thing that makes me remember it, it's the first time I've never seen one of my clients. That answer your question?
Oh, well, not quite. Where's his house located?
Where Willow Road crosses Emerald Drive.
Headquarters to 2150.
2150 by.
Sergeant Garvey has lost Thornton. Also, real estate broker E.D. Chrisman reports rental of Hilltop House to Mr. Herman Sawyer on Willow Road near Emerald Drive.
Sawyer, Stewart, and Sylvester. Contact Garvey. Have him meet me at Willow and Emerald. 10-4?
10-4.
Checkmate.
Hello, Harold.
Tom!
Any sign at all?
Just got here.
Let's take a look.
I got here first like I said I would. Now go back to your car. You can't save him.
Don't be a fool, Thornton.
Don't you be a fool, Matthews. I've got Sylvester tied to the chair, and I've got his gun. And I'm going to kill him, inch by inch, a little at a time, just the way I died during those 13 years. Go back to your cars. I'll let you know when it's all over.
Could be bluffing, but we can't take that chance.
Let him think he convinced us.
We can lob tear gas in from here without any trouble.
Tear gas won't stop him from pulling the trigger.
In Thornton's present condition, he'll shoot if we try any of the conventional methods.
Yeah, but we got to get to him.
How? This is the only approach to the house. The other side drops down the hill.
We can't get in the front door, that's for sure. I'll try the back. You keep him busy.
Go ahead and shoot.
You'd like that. Nice and quick. Well, I've waited 13 years, and it's not going to happen that fast.
What are you going to do?
What do you think I should do to get full value for 13 years? What would you do?
You always did want the most for your money. Always the cautious one. Playing it close to the vest.
And you always had to be the king. The top of the heap. You even had to have a house on top of a hill. You know what you have? An emperor's complex. Well, the king is dead. Or you will be, soon. I was just testing. Stay back.
I don't believe you.
Tell him.
Don't let him kill me! Don't let him kill me!
There's nothing anybody can do to stop me. How does it feel to know you're going to die?
You won't get away with it.
I didn't. They convicted me of your murder. And now I'm going to give them the evidence they need. Your body.
Thornton! Thornton!
I told you to get away from here. Now this is your last chance. If you're not out of here by the time I count 10, I'm going to kill him. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, we're going.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I told you not to try anything or I'd kill him. Now get away from him. Don't make me kill you, too.
Give me the gun, Thornton. You're no killer.
He's mine. I paid 13 years of my life for him. And I'm going to collect. I told you I'd shoot. Don't you believe me?
All right, Patrolfull, come on in. Sorry, Thornton, but you're under arrest.
Why?
You were carrying a gun. For you, that's illegal. Let's go.
You saved my life.
I didn't come here to save you.
Help Patrolfull.
I hope you'll be with us next week. Until then, remember, no matter how new, the safest device in your car is you. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.
laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. On Sunday morning of June 12th, Jack Avery, a desperate and wanted criminal, was stopped for speeding just outside the small town of Hartsdale. Thus began the most terrifying day in the history of that town.
All right, out of the car, mister.
So I gave you a little run for it. So why all the excitement, officer?
85 in a 40-mile zone. You know, you may be out to kill yourself, but I'm going to make sure you don't take anyone else with you.
Well, I'm really very sorry about that. I was kind of anxious to get home. Just wasn't thinking. Let's forget about it, huh?
May I see your driver's license and registration, please?
Look, you give me a break and I'll give you a break. And you won't have to list it on your income tax either.
Just your license and registration.
You're liable to get yourself in a lot more trouble than it's worth, friend.
I'll take my chances. Jack Avery, huh? Is that the Jack Avery? You know, I bet the sheriff would like to have a nice little chat with you.
Look, pal.
You're under arrest. Put down. Sheriff Melton, I've got Jack Avery in the car.
Jack Avery?
After bribery, speeding, and...
And a lot of other things I suspect that we don't know about. And he's been involved in more organized crime operations than anyone I ever heard tell of. Morning, Mr. Avery.
Yeah.
Mind coming inside? Afraid I'll have to book you. Have to hold you till the highway patrol runs a check anyway. You're pretty well known, you know. Somebody else might want to have a little talk with you, too.
Book me for what?
Well, I guess you could pretty near take your choice. There's attempted bribery, resisting arrest.
I'll use your phone.
Help yourself. Inside. Crowley's due in a few minutes. Have him drive you to pick up Avery's car. Bring it back here, huh?
Right, Sheriff.
Inside, Mr. Avery. Just hold it right there.
How about my call?
Business first, friend. Well, Rose, get me Highway Patrol headquarters. Give me the boss man there. Yeah, thanks.
There won't be anybody there. It's Sunday.
Avery, for people like you, we keep the store open 7 days a week. Oh, Mr. Matthews? Fred Melton, Hartsdale Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, how are you, Fred?
One of my boys just picked up Jack Avery for speeding down the road here.
What's that name again? Oh, Jack Avery. Sure, it's worth looking into. I'll get back to you in a few minutes. Yeah, that's right. Run a make on Jack Avery. See what you get and let me know. Send Williams in.
Hello.
Hello, Rick.
Yeah.
Avery. I got picked up for speeding out on Route 40. Big deal, huh? I tried to pay the boy cash, and he got all worked up. A couple of big wheels are planning to hold me. They're going to run a check on your old pal. They figure if something turns up, they'll be heroes.
I'll move on it right away, Mr. Avery. Where are you?
Oh, it's a swell spot. It's called, what do you call this garden spot?
Hartsdale, the sheriff's office. You can't miss it.
Hartsdale, Rick.
Well, I know the area. Yeah, and it's not far from here.
Yeah, and another thing. The sheriff's name is Melton. No, Melton.
All right. What's up?
Oh, Ken, guess who's visiting the jail in Hartsdale?
Somebody big?
Jack Avery. Is that big enough?
It sure is. What's the charge?
Oh, this is small stuff for Avery. Traffic violation. Tried to bribe the officer that gave him the ticket. I'm running a make on him. You know, I'm willing to bet he's looking for somebody outside of Hartsdale.
Yeah. That's a funny thing about Avery. The way everybody dummies up when it comes to making a charge.
He's always got his boys behind him. They're rough and tough, and let's face it, people scare easy.
Smells good.
Oh, goodness. Well, you startled me half to death.
Well, I meant to surprise you.
Well, you certainly succeeded. What can I do for you, mister?
Just Rick. I want to use your phone.
Oh, is that all? Well, certainly. It's there on the wall. Help yourself. If you'll excuse me, I'll keep at it here. I'm expecting my husband home for lunch.
Yeah, your husband. What's his number?
Why, it's 112. My husband?
He's the sheriff, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
All right.
Hartsdale Sheriff's Station. Sheriff Melton speaking.
This is Jack Avery's friend. Yeah, well, I'd like you to release him. What do you mean you can't do that? You wouldn't want me to take that attitude about Mrs. Melton, would you?
What are you talking about? Is this some kind of a joke?
Well, that depends on your sense of humor. Look, I don't think I'm getting through to you. I better put your little wife on the phone.
What are you doing? What are you doing with that gun?
Now, you tell him, lady. And you tell him I mean it. Tell him.
Fred? Oh, Fred. You'd better do as he says.
Helen, don't worry. Do whatever he says. Now put him back on the phone.
He wants to talk to you.
Okay, Melton, now get this straight. If I don't get Avery back, you don't get your wife back, ever. Got it? Now, you don't say anything to anybody. You just sit tight and wait to hear from me again. In about an hour, I'll let you know where and when to deliver Avery. When you do, you get your wife back. But not till we're safely on our way, maybe around midnight. You got it?
I got it.
Why are you doing this?
Your husband's bitten off a little more than he can chew. Mr. Avery's a very big man. Now, let's go.
Oh.
All right, Miss Melton, get in there. Rose, get me Highway Patrol headquarters, please. Mr. Matthews. So that's the way it stacks up, Mr. Matthews. He'll be calling back in less than an hour.
All right. Take it easy. We'll be out there before you get the call. Yeah.
There's a word on Avery.
That's what I asked for, but not what I wanted. Police in the next state want him for murder.
No wonder he's so anxious to get away.
Yeah, come on, let's get out there.
And now what?
Well, we got a 20-minute wait. How could I know we'd find just the right place so easily? Things are going better than I expected.
Maybe they are and maybe they're not. You can't be too sure, can you?
Well, lady, you better hope they are. Or else you got no chance at all.
Lady, another smart move like that, and you won't have any chance at all. I sure hate to ruin your Sunday. Well, it's tough to handle a thing when you're kind of personally involved.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but look, just take it easy. Things are going to work out.
You don't need to kid me, Mr. Matthews. I've been in this business as long as you have. I know what Helen's chances are.
Do you?
What do you mean?
You sure you know what her chances are?
Well, I know this much. I know, for instance, you can't go around emptying out jails just because some hood takes a hostage. I guess I called you hoping I'd hear something different, but I know better.
Can't send for the chopper. Have him come in the back part of town. Tell him not to land till we tell him to. Is your boy still locked up?
For now.
Okay, let's see. And your call is just about due. We'll sit on it till then. Look, if he wants you to let him out, let him out. Go on inside and relax.
Well, it's time for my telephone call. 112, wasn't it?
Yes.
Now, you stick close by and don't go out in the traffic to play. I may need you. Understand?
Yes.
Harsdale Sheriff's Office.
Sheriff Meldon?
Well, you're right on time.
Well, I didn't want to disappoint you.
All right, what do you want?
Well, for one thing, a car for my friend. And Mrs. Meldon and I were wondering if you'd call Mr. Avery to the phone. Yeah, well, we got a few specifics to discuss.
He's locked up where he belongs, and where you and your whole...
Come on, Sheriff, let's not get cute.
All right, just a minute. Your friend's on the phone.
Yeah, Rick?
Mr. Avery? Just drive east. When you come to the intersection of 104, just keep going till you come to the first dirt road. Well, we'll be there. Okay?
It'll do. My car.
It's in front.
You know, you'd love to tell me I'll never get away with it. But you're just not sure. I'll see you.
I sure hope so.
Well, to get started?
I don't get it. I let him go. You told me to let him go.
Milton, we've got no written guarantees, but I think if we play it my way, we got a chance of getting your wife back. Play it the other way, we're dead.
Are you sure, Mr. Matthews?
I said it was a chance. Now, look, you stay here. And don't call us, we'll call you.
You know, it's her birthday, and I was going to bring her this box of candy. It's her favorite.
Well, we'll see that she gets it. Kane called a chopper on the radio.
Yeah.
Milton, let me tell you something. This stooge isn't kidnapping for money. All he wants is Avery. All we want is to get your wife back and those two guys. Oh, I know it's a risk. Please, will you play along with us?
Anything. But, Mr. Matthews, I guess you know we're compounding a felony.
Yeah, I know, but keep it on the QT, will you?
Helicopter by. Stand by. Here he is.
Thanks. This is Matthews. You're following a light blue sedan. The license number is 6 John 250. Repeat, 6 John 250. He's traveling east. Got that?
10-4.
I don't want him to know you exist, so fly nice and high. Use the glasses. Now, we're in an undercover car. You're going to have to spot him and talk us in. 10-4?
10-4.
As Jack Avery proceeded toward his rendezvous, he was unaware that he was being followed by air as well as by land. Beyond the present, Matthews had no plan. It remained first for Avery to lead the highway patrol to the point of contact.
Helicopter 2150, still traveling on the main road, heading east at a pretty fast rate of speed. Hold it, he's pulled over to the side. He's climbing a little hill. He seems to be looking back in your direction.
10-4.
If he wants to make sure he's not being followed.
Yeah, this one's a smart cookie.
Helicopter 2150. He's on his way again. 10-4.
So are we, 10-4.
Hold it now. Let's not get too close. He'll be able to spot you.
I've got a great spot lined up. It will never be found, and we can...
Good, we'll discuss it later.
Well, you want to follow me?
Yeah, come on, get going.
We're at the intersection. Now, if we follow this road, are we well hidden? Come on, give us a signal.
This looks like it's as far as you can go by car. If you proceed, there's a possibility you might be spotted. You kick up a dust trail on that road, they couldn't miss. What next?
There's a clearing here. You'll pick us up. I'm pretty sure you were high enough so you weren't spotted.
I'm sure I wasn't. Coming in. 10-4?
10-4.
Not bad, huh? Real stroke of luck.
Look, if you ever want to see that hick husband of yours again, it's strictly up to you.
Well, what now, Mr. Avery?
Well, I thought you had all the answers.
Well, I thought you'd like to stick around here for a while and figure things out.
Now, what do you mean for a while?
Well, you got all the answers. I haven't.
All right. Now, we're here till it's dark. Good and dark. That's just in case that husband of yours decides to have us followed. Who comes up here?
Nobody. Nobody at all. You're really quite safe here.
Here it is, Mr. Avery. Now, what about roadblocks?
Well, there won't be any. That clam digger wouldn't dream of it. After all, we've got his pride and joy here to protect us.
So what are we waiting for, then?
Night. I'm leaving here by myself in your car. They don't know that exists, but they know I do, and they know my car.
What about her?
Well, the unidentified car is my protection. She's yours. Now, you take her for a nice, long drive in a different direction from me. Give me at least 4 hours. After that, you can dump her and the car. It's your business what you do with her.
Oh.
What is it?
My roast. It's still in the oven.
Do you really think that husband of yours is going to feel like eating?
Just think All the hicks and clam diggers in Hartsdale are probably sitting down to their Sunday dinner now, without any of your worries.
Or yours. Now shut up. You're getting on my nerves.
I don't see a thing. I don't get it. Hey, wait a minute.
What?
Take a look.
Both cars must be holed up in that cave. Does it look big enough to you?
Yeah, the entrance did.
It looks like there's only one way out of there, too.
Looks like it.
Well, I hope so. If that's where they're holed up, they'll keep Mrs. Melton alive till they get out, so we can't let them get out.
We'll have to go after them. But how?
By surprise, Ken, by surprise. If they hear us, we haven't got a chance. Hey, does this thing float?
I'll try anything.
That's what I was afraid of.
What do you got in mind?
Cut the motor and drift down. Drop us close to the cave. The closer, the better.
That's a neat trick if it works.
It's got to. It's our only chance, Ken. Well, are you with us?
So far.
When you drop it, start your motor. Gun it, but don't go anyplace.
Smoke straight?
Yeah. We haven't got tear gas or time to get it. We're going to blow dust into that cave. All the dust we can, and we're going in with it. I hope we can see what's going on. Okay, it's all yours.
Mr. Avery, you hear anything?
Like what?
Like a faint motor noise in the distance.
No. Nothing.
I'm sure she has.
What?
Doris, my neighbor, was coming over to supper early. I'm sure she's turned my roast off.
Lady, you shut up about that roast.
It's all right.
Didn't get closer.
I'll be out in 48 hours.
48 years, you mean?
You got nothing against me that'll stick.
You want to bet? I told Fred not to call us. We call him. Come on. I hope you'll be with us next week. Until then, remember, no matter how new, the safest device in your car is you. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. The fight against crime is a never-ending series of battles. Even when one skirmish has been won, the law must prepare for another. On the 10th of last month, the Highway Patrol formulated a daring plan to try and apprehend the unknown members of a crime ring by offering its jailed leader as a bait for a kidnapping.
Williams back from upstate yet?
Yes, he's in the lab.
Have him come into my office.
Right.
See if you can get me an appointment with Johnson after 4 o'clock. Right.
Hi.
Hi, how are things in Somerset?
Oh, normal. Something going here?
Yeah, we got an assignment. We're taking Wilson to the state pen tomorrow.
I heard that on the news a little while ago. I was surprised it leaked out.
Oh, it didn't leak out. We gave it out.
I thought with somebody as important as Wilson, we try to keep it a secret.
Well, how much you know about Wilson?
Well, he's supposed to be one of the top crime bosses in the country. Been after him for years. The details, not much to know about him.
Well, let me tell you, in 10 years, he built a syndicate that controlled everything from narcotics to the numbers racket. And he didn't do it by himself.
Yeah, he's the only one of the gang we were able to get. The rest of them are still running around loose.
That's who we're after. That's why we publicized this. So they'll know in advance we're going to pick Wilson up. We hope they go for the bait.
Well, that's pretty risky, isn't it? Especially if the man with us is really going to be Wilson.
It's got to be Wilson. The gang wouldn't make a move unless they knew for sure it was. Now, it's a risk, but a calculated risk. I'm going to take you for a ride. You might find it interesting. Come on.
You got them all?
Same story, all the papers.
Condemned gang chief Ted Wilson to be driven to state penitentiary tomorrow to await execution. Finally, the last link in our plan when they take him. Funny thing the cops tell us and save all our snooping.
Now, I wonder if it is so funny, Ellie. Look over here, all the details that they're giving. Look, be leaving at 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, here. They'll be driving them in a highway patrol car. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks.
What do you mean?
Well, remember at the court, all the precautions they took? Well, you think we were going to go right in and pull Ted right out of the courtroom, right? Well, doesn't stand a reason now. They got to drive him over 20 miles from the county jail to the state pen. They'd even be a little more careful, huh?
I don't know. They publicized these things before. There's only one route they can take. Maybe they figure since nothing happened, there's nothing to worry about.
Look, Ellie, let's face reality, huh? The coppers knew there was a gang involved in Ted's operations, huh? Now, this thing strikes me as if they're trying to walk us into a nice little trap.
What are you driving at, Al? Do you want out of this?
I didn't say that, did I, Ellie? Nah, the boys are with you. You know that. Ted's our boss, our friend. We want him out as much as you do.
Not quite as much as I do. He's my husband. I love him. The only reason you're trying to help him is because you know what a threat he is. If he reaches that death house and you haven't tried to help him, he's gonna talk. And when he talks, that means you and Frank and all the other guys are gonna end up in the same place.
Okay, so it's out in the open. Okay, we gotta help him to save our own neck, we admit it. But look, Ellie, what possible good is it gonna do, Ted, if we're in a trap?
That's just the chance you're gonna have to take. They don't know our plan. That's the main advantage we have over them. Or don't you like the plan either, Al?
Plan's all right, Ellie. Look, you're running things. If you're willing to take a chance on a spot like that, it's okay with me.
If the cops are going to expect an ambush, this is one street they won't be looking. It's those deserted spots out of the country. That's the ones they're covering. Look, I don't want to be late for visiting hours. As soon as I've seen Ted, I want to go over everything again. It'll take us about 2 hours. I'm going to get my coat now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you want everybody?
Yeah. You get that, will you, Al?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Frank.
Yeah, Al. Ellie told me to check in. I just want to know what's cooking. Anything I should know about?
You read the newspapers, huh? The coppers couldn't have been more cooperative than if they were working for us.
Yeah, that's what scares me. They guarded that guy so much during the trial. Maybe it's a trick.
Look, I've gone all over that ground, Frank. Ellie's made up plans. Yeah, she's right here now. She's set.
Got more nerve than I have. The more I think about it, Al, now this is ridiculous. Can you talk?
No.
Well, I can. All we should be thinking about is our own necks. If Ted talks, we're dead. We gotta make sure that he doesn't.
Good point. Yeah, good point, Frank. I'm glad you like the plans. Yeah, I think we're a cinch to grab them off. Frank, how about having the boys up here in about 2 hours? How we want to check over all the plans again? Yeah, right.
What's the matter? Trouble with Frank?
Trouble with our boy, Frank? Nah, he thinks the plan's great. You know, Ellie, I've been thinking maybe you've been right all along at that. Yep. I'm pretty sure we can bring this off just the way you expect.
We will.
Well, this looks like a good spot.
Yeah, a good spot for an ambush. We'll probably have to slow down coming around that curve. You're right about here before we pick up speed again.
That's why I put it down as our first hazard.
Yeah, they got Regas from both sides of the road. Probably have a car stashed up ahead on that turn.
Yeah, maybe, but the whole thing looks too good to me.
How do you mean?
Well, it's too obvious. These are smart guys we're dealing with. If they figure it's good enough for an ambush, they know we'll be expecting it. Come on, let's take a look around.
Hi, Ted.
Hi, Ellie. That hat new? I don't remember that.
What am I going to do with you? You never remember anything. Did you get my package?
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Ellie. They're taking me tomorrow.
I know. I saw it in the papers. Can we talk?
Go ahead.
Everything's all set. It'll take about 20 minutes to get to the plane.
20 minutes. It'll take the cops that long to get an organized search underway. You sure about the pilot?
He can be trusted.
Good. Men all lined up?
Every one of them.
What about the plan? Do they think well of it?
Good. Frank thinks it couldn't be any better.
That's good.
The only one I had any trouble with is Al.
How do you mean?
Gee, honey, you know I'm going to do the best I can.
What do you mean about Al?
He figured because it was in the paper we were moving into a trap.
Just tell him you might be. But he doesn't have much choice. When I land in the state pen, I call for the warden and turn state's evidence. Maybe I'll still burn, but so help me, I won't be alone.
Okay, honey, okay. Take it easy. He understands.
I'll remind him.
Okay. I've got to cut this short. I got a lot of things to do. Don't worry, honey. If everything turns all right, we'll be on that plane tomorrow at this time.
I'm not worried. Not as long as you're handling it.
I love you, Ted.
That goes double for me. Take care of yourself, Howie.
No, nothing. Nothing here either. Did you notice that cemetery a few miles back?
Yeah, I did. It's been bothering me.
Me too.
Be pretty natural for a hearse to be going in or coming out as we drove by, and no trouble to hide 4 or 5 guys inside it.
Yeah, that's what bothers me. Let's go back and check the cemetery against our timetable. See if they got any funeral schedules. Come on, let's go.
All right, sit down, boys. This is the last chance we'll have to go over everything. Let's take it from the top. Al?
Okay. Tomorrow morning, 7:30, Bud and Frank meet Leo with the station wagon. Then they come over here and park by the curb next to the manhole. Start taking the junk out of the back. Road barriers, 2 toolboxes, and oh yeah, Leo drives over to 8th Street and waits.
The barrier. It's the real thing.
The real thing. It's the one we picked up last week from the gas main job, right, Leo?
Now, everything's going to depend upon this first call from the phone booth near the courthouse. They're going to bring him out this way, swing on into the street, take a right. Joe's got to be able to make a positive identification. We've got to know beyond any doubt that Ted's in that car.
Joe will be by the phone. When he makes the identification, he'll be calling us within seconds.
We've got 15 minutes to get from the courthouse to the barricade. That gives us plenty of time to get ready. Stick to the snub-nosed 38s. That's all you'll need at this close range.
Okay, boys? Well, then we just wait for your signal.
And make it look real when you're waiting. As if you guys are working down there in the manhole. Now, when the cops come out.
Wait until the car's alongside of us, and then Frank and the boys take care of the cops on their side.
Okay. Al and I'll take care of them on our side. Herb, you get in the car, take Ted out, take him down into the manhole. Have you memorized the underground map?
Memorize it. I'll bet I could find my way through every sewer in the city blindfolded.
Now, after you're down there, which way do you turn?
8th Street. It's marked down there.
Now, you'll have to hurry. You won't have more than 5 minutes, boys.
We can make it. I've checked it. Leo will be waiting there with a station wagon. We put Ted in, and that's it.
Okay, boys, that's all. You can go home now. But keep in touch in case I need you.
Good night, boys. You still set on that insurance office?
Perfect setup. Just the old man, practically. No street business. He's got a phone and a back door for my getaway.
You want to take it over tonight?
No. He might have a family or friend. Somebody will miss him if he doesn't come home.
What happens if he doesn't open up tomorrow morning on time?
Not a chance. For the last 4 mornings, 8 o'clock sharp. Hasn't varied 1 minute.
Good for him. Well, anything else you can think of?
Oh, I don't know. We'll just keep going over the diagram until we know every single move. This thing has got to work with split-second precision. We don't want to get caught up in that traffic at Ponce intersection.
Well, those are the main routes. What do you think?
Well, we got 11 main hazards. They couldn't very well try anything around here.
Well, we can't be sure. But if they did, their big trouble would be getting away. They get jammed up in traffic and we'd catch them. I think they'll pick one of those deserted spots on the highway. Come on, let's go.
Highway Patrol was ready. As far as was humanly possible, everything was in order. The trap was set and baited.
Everything all set?
Ready and wait.
Call Captain Bellum, county jail for me, will you?
Right.
Well, I had a unit cover the route at dawn, sort of a last dry run. Everything looked all right.
There's one thing we haven't discussed at all.
What's that?
They might find it impossible to grab Wilson. If that's the case, they're going to try and kill him.
That's a real booby trap for us.
Yeah, well, the advance units are going to alert us if anything unusual happens. From then on, we're on our own. Matthews. Okay, put him on. Good morning, Captain Bellum. We're all set. It's about 8 o'clock now. Could you have Wilson ready at 8:55? We'll pick him up then, huh? Right, thanks a lot. Okay, let's get started. How you feel?
A little jumpy.
Me too.
Everything's working out real fine.
Yeah, I know.
Ellie, there he is.
Yeah. Right on the dot.
Shall we?
No, let's give him a minute. Okay.
Good morning. Don't say a word. Come on, get up. Get up, come on. That's it. Now let's go in the back. There's going to be no trouble.
You got him in the back. Joe, the number here is Central 07896. Got it? Right.
Okay, got him tied and gagged.
Okay, get over to 8th Street and make sure Leo's all right. And be sure you park the car as close as you can here to the office.
Okay. Frank, I'll look up. The others below? Just listen. I don't think it's going to be quite as easy to grab Ted off as Ellie thinks. I kind of got a hunch the cops have set this up all for our benefit.
That's what I was trying to tell you yesterday on the phone.
Yeah, I know, but I couldn't talk then. The way I see it, we're probably going to have to knock Ted off. And the cops with him.
It'll be a lot easier.
Think you can get Bud to go along with us on it?
There's no trouble there. He feels the same way. Just so long as Ted doesn't talk. That's all that counts.
Okay, let's just make sure that's the way it goes.
We will.
Wilson, is he ready? Would you get him, please? Put your hands against the wall.
What's the matter? Don't you trust the guards? They already searched me once.
Cuff him. Okay, let's go. headquarters.
Headquarters by.
Have prisoner in custody. From now on, keep your fingers crossed. Stand by.
10-4.
3212. Proceed as directed. Headquarters to 2150. Proceed as directed. Headquarters to 3615. Stand by.
2150 to headquarters. Proceeding as planned. 10-4.
Yeah. You're sure Ted was in the car? Just one car? You're sure? How many cops? Okay, now call Pete. I just talked with Joe. They're on their way. One car, two cops. Ted's in the back with them.
Yeah?
I see they should be here in 12 minutes. That'll be 9:15.
Headquarters to 2150.
This is 3016. Bye.
Escort units in position. Proceed as directed.
Now starting motor trouble. We'll pull into garage in 1 minute.
10-4.
Take it easy, boys. Shouldn't be too much longer now.
You know, it's 8 minutes after 9.
Yeah. What is it, Pete? Okay, I'll hang on.
What's the matter?
Pete says the cops just pulled into a garage on Bronson Street. Yeah, Pete. He says it looks like they have motor trouble.
Yeah, looks like a switch.
Look, Pete's close enough to see. There's nothing we can do but wait. Yes. You're sure? Well, you're close enough to see. Okay, thanks. The car just left the garage. Pete said Ted was in it.
Was he positive? They could have pulled a switch.
Pete said Ted was in it. Let's go.
Any minute now.
Headquarters to 2150. Caution.
2150 standing by.
Report from advanced unit. Gas company street barrier erected on Ponce Street. Not listed on 5 a.m. dry run. Also negative on city's advanced report on street repair. We're checking repair department now to see if it might be an emergency.
Look, I don't want to wait too long. They've been watching us. A delay might scare them off. Let's proceed as planned. Advise when ready. 10-4.
10-4. Headquarters to 3412 and 3216. Converge on gas company street barrier. Advise when in position.
$9:15. No sign of him.
They lost a little time in the garage. They should be here any second.
2150. Units in position. You may proceed. 10-4.
10-4.
Okay, man, come on, let's go. They're coming. Up you go.
Okay, Al, here they come. Let them have it.
Okay, drop it.
2150. Headquarters to 2150.
2150, bye.
Report from the state penitentiary. Wilson safely delivered by helicopter.
Okay, we got that.
Oh, another thing. On that street barrier. Negative report from emergency street repair.
Oh, that's just dandy. It's better late than never. Come on, let's go. See Highway Patrol again next week. Until then, remember, reckless driving doesn't determine who's right, only who's left. This is Roderick Crawford saying, see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. This is the town of Sunland Park. To someone just passing through, it's merely a wide spot in the road. A pleasant little place with a park and a playground for children. Nothing of any significance could have happened there. But the residents of this town, especially Mrs. Bernie Sills, knew this to be untrue. The Highway Patrol knew it too. For recent events in Sunland Park had been far too significant in terms of violence and tragedy.
You want to go home and take a nap or something? I'll watch the place.
Okay. You call me if you get feeling tired. Motorcycle.
Why'd they have to stop here? Bernie, what are you doing?
3 guesses.
Bernie, please, don't start anything more.
Well, just make sure they don't start anything.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
Want some breakfast?
Yep. What's your specialty?
Good food, mostly.
That's what we're after. Good food and lots of it.
We've been bucking those sickles of ours for more than an hour. Kind of shakes up an appetite.
And you better get back on those sickles and take off. Honey, you ain't gonna feed these bums, are you?
Bums. Say, does that guy know you, Joe?
I don't think they're bums, Bernie.
They're bums, all right. Motorcycle bums. Look at them.
Now, look, mister, we just came in here for breakfast. We're not looking for any trouble.
And we'll make sure you don't start any. Now, come on, out.
Say, what kind of gag is this?
Better do what he says, boys, please.
Come on, Nick.
Wait a minute. I don't think I like being shoved around by a...
Come on. Say, would it break your heart, mister, to tell us what this is all about?
You ought to know. You hoodlums have got a lot of gold stopping in this town again.
Again? But this is the first time we've ever been up this way.
And the last time, too. Now, you get on those cycles and get out.
Now, take it easy, mister. We're not leaving here till we know why.
You guys seem to have short memories. Only 8 months ago, a whole gang of you bums came roaring into this town, riding your cycles on the sidewalks, into the store windows, knocking people down, breaking up our property and trampling up our picnic grounds. A whole mob of bums. Loud-mouthed, dirty hoodlums in leather jackets. You turned this town upside down.
Well, listen, that wasn't our club. We've never even been here before.
Not much you haven't. Take a look at my wife in our cafe there. She knows you were here. One of your cycles knocked her down and broke her hip. She hasn't walked right since.
Hello. Hello. Get me the highway patrol. Yes, quick.
Now, you get out of here, fast.
You shoved that gun into me once more, mister. Now,
Come on, Nick, let's go.
why should we? We had nothing to do with that raid. That was another club.
Another club. Well, you're all alike, all you wise guys in the leather jackets and the big mouths.
Watch that talk, mister. I mean it.
Come on, forget it, Nick. Cut out.
And make it fast.
Nick, cut it out!
Barney!
I'm all right.
I called the highway patrol. They should be here soon.
Patrol. The gun.
It's 2 men on motorcycles, officer. They better get them. They're dangerous. Starting trouble. Slugging people and everything. They went right down the highway there.
Matthews. Who? What had happened? I'll be out there as soon as I can.
What's up?
Anders cracked up his bike. He's in bad shape.
Anders?
He was on call. He crashed into a truck. Let's get out there right away. Come on.
The injured officer was already on his way to the hospital when the truck driver told his story of the collision. He readily admitted having run the boulevard stop. After further questioning, he was released pending his appearance in court. Mr. and Mrs. Sills were eager to return to their unattended cafe, but they were even more eager to answer routine questions with unroutine statements.
Yeah, but it's those cycle bums who caused it. That patrolman was chasing after them when he hit that truck.
Did you see it happen?
No. No, we heard the screech of brakes and a crash, and then we went out there.
But the point is, that officer wouldn't be in the hospital right now if they hadn't come into town.
In other words, their coming to town had nothing to do with the collision. Is that right?
Suppose that officer dies. What happens to the truck driver?
Well, if Officer Ander dies, the truck driver's going to face a manslaughter charge.
Well, that ain't fair. It's those 2 men on motorcycles who ought to be punished. They come zooming into town just aching to start trouble. Last year, just 8 months ago, 50 of them swooped down on this place, scaring kids to death, breaking up our property. Run my wife down and broke her hip, that's what they did. She hasn't been able to walk right since. But that wasn't enough for those punks, oh no. Now they gotta come back looking for more trouble.
Tell me, were they from the same gang, the same club?
Well, how do I know which club they belong to? They all look alike and act alike as far as we're concerned.
Did they wear any insignia, any kind of a club emblem?
Yeah, they had some kind of a firefly or a lightning bug thing on their jacket. I saw that, plain as day.
Mrs. Sills, is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
Well, Bernie and I were pretty sensitive about motorcycle drivers now, I guess.
Well, we got good reason to be.
The whole town hates them since that awful raid last year.
Mrs. Sills, please go on.
These 2 men came in here for something to eat.
Yeah, came stomping right in, just looking for a fight and yelling for food.
What do you mean by yelling?
Oh, yelling, you know. Good food, lots of it. That's what they were yelling. That's an exact quote, isn't it, honey? Didn't they say that?
Yes, they did say that.
Bet your sweet life they said that. So they started to get smart, see? So I told him to leave. I made him go outside. Well, then all of a sudden, the younger one, the one called Nick, he began slugging me. You should see the way he hit me.
And then you called the highway patrol.
No. No, I called the patrol.
I tell you, Mr. Matthews, you better find those two bums before they end up murdering somebody else.
Nobody's been murdered, Mr. Sills. We need the two motorcyclists because they're witnesses. They might tell us how the collision happened.
Witnesses?
In case the truck driver has to go to trial.
Well, what about the way they acted here? You gonna let them get away with that?
Bernie, let it go.
Well, that's up to you, Mr. Sills. You want to make a complaint against them?
You bet I do.
What charge? Disturbing the peace?
Well, is that all you can nail on them?
Bernie, please.
Okay, disturbing the peace. They deserve anything you give them. But if I were you, I'd blame those two psycho bums for putting that officer in the hospital.
We can't blame anybody, Mr. Sills. And neither can you. That's up to the court to decide. Right now, we're going to have to investigate a lot further before we turn it over to the DA's office.
Oh, will I be hearing from you?
You sure will. Come on, let's go.
Those people are sure bitter about motorcyclists in general, aren't they?
Yeah. We better find those guys. They'll be able to tell us more about the accident. Now, if Anders dies, that truck driver's going to face a prison term. So with or without his confession, we're going to dig up all the evidence we can.
Well, we better find them anyway before they start disturbing the peace in some other town.
Two guys on a motorcycle. You know, I don't care how crazy or wild they are. They wouldn't take on a whole town without the rest of their gang with them. This town may look small, but believe me, it's bigger than two men. Come on, let's go.
We were wrong. We shouldn't have said all that, and we never even mentioned the gun.
You forget about that.
It isn't exactly fair.
Isn't it? Not fair to him. Listen, honey. There's a dance over at the park tonight.
Bernie, stop.
Wouldn't you like to go to the dance? Like the old days?
Bernie, please. You know I can't dance anymore. You know that.
Then don't talk about being fair to them. Those cycle bums deserve anything they get. Let Matthews find out all he wants. I hope they get what's coming to them.
A call to the American Motorcycle Association led to the identification of the lightning bug insignia worn by the two recent visitors to Sunland Park. It was the emblem of an accredited cycle club presided over by Ralph Hogan.
I don't dig this at all, Mr. Matthews. Why should the throttle jockeys in my club get into a bash with the law?
Well, why not?
Well, we're proven accredited by the Motorcycle Association. We're pledged to uphold the laws all the time, on the road or anywhere else. It's those renegade wheel peelers that give you the headaches, not us.
Now, look, Hogan, you might have a couple of troublemakers in your club.
I don't know. We got a good bunch of rod hoppers. It's our job to undo all the harm that's done by these renegade sickle hounds. Of course, we could have a couple of ringers in there that I don't know anything about.
You do me a favor?
Sure thing.
Help us weed them out, will you?
Why not?
When's your next meeting?
Sunday morning at my garage. Got the address.
Don't tell your members. I'll bring along a couple of people as witnesses.
Witnesses?
They might help identify the men we're looking for.
If they're in my club.
Yeah, if. What is it, Dawson?
The hospital just called about Jack Anders.
Is that the patrolman who got hurt?
Yeah, how's he making out?
He died less than an hour ago.
On Sunday morning, Bernie and Mrs. Sills were taken to Ralph Hogan's garage for the weekly meeting of the Lightning Bug Cycle Club. With Officer Anders dead, a warrant was issued for the truck driver, and he was picked up on a manslaughter charge. Thus, it became even more urgent that the two motorcyclists be identified in case they were able to offer testimony at the trial.
Hey, Joe.
What's the matter?
Take a look.
Rollins, Dick Rollins.
Isn't that the guy from the cafe?
Yeah, the guy with the gun.
Mr. Matthews.
Yeah?
There they are. It's them two.
He's got the cops with him.
Who are the two guys that just came in?
Joe Keeley and Nick West. Why?
What he's doing here?
Well, maybe we ought to fade out.
Yeah. All right, hold it, you two. I want to ask you some questions.
What for? We haven't done anything.
Not much you haven't. Helped kill a patrolman, that's what you did. We what?
Say, what's the matter with this guy? Is he crazy or something?
Were you in Sunland Friday morning?
Sure, but we just stopped there for something to eat. Don't listen to them, Mr. Matthews. They're liars.
I can't be sure of that unless I do listen to them. Come on outside. We can talk there.
This isn't going to help our club's reputation one bit. I'm glad the other members aren't here yet.
Your club's reputation. Listen, those two bums came roaring into Sunland Park like they were trying to liberate the town or something.
It's not like them. Joe and Nick are nice guys. They wouldn't start any trouble.
You don't call the highway patrol to chase nice guys. And my wife called the patrol because of them. Right, honey?
Well,
They slugged me, didn't they?
Yes, I called the patrol.
And that officer is dead because of those two.
Look, Mr. Matthews just wants them as witnesses. They might be able to help describe that collision.
Well, I got a disturbing the peace complaint against them. They'll have to talk fast to get out of that. First they cripple my wife, then they slug me in the jaw, then they kill a cop.
You're stretching things just a little too far, mister.
Cop killers. In your club.
Bernie, stop it.
Are you gonna let them get away with it? Do you want to be labeled a cop killer because of them?
Bernie, you're only starting more trouble.
You know, it's because of guys like them that all motorcycle clubs get bad names. Now, I don't know how you feel about it, but I wouldn't let any two-bit throttle bomb ruin my reputation.
Mr. Hogan, my husband gets pretty riled up sometimes.
No. He's beginning to make sense in a way. If what he says is true...
Are you calling me a liar?
I've sent for another car to take you and Mr. Sills home. I'll go with Keeley and West and get their statements.
Statements? Is that all you do to a couple of cop killers?
What?
He's right, Mr. Matthews. Those two guys can undo all the good our club has done for motorcycling. If you find out that they really started that back there in Sunland Park, why not let us take care of them?
I thought they were your buddies.
Our club and other outfits like ours, we try to make people realize that throttle jockeys don't have to be tough guys. If Mr. Sills is telling the truth about them, then every sickle hound in the country will be labeled a bum and a renegade and a cop killer.
Oh, wait a minute. The only one responsible for the officer's death is the truck driver.
Yeah, but they started all the trouble. It never would have happened without them.
What kind of trouble are you trying to start, Mr. Sills?
When men do wrong, they deserve punishment.
The boys in our club will handle them, if we have to.
I got a better idea. Turn them over to the people of Sunland Park. We'd sure like to even up the score with those two throttle bums.
I got a better idea than that. Why don't we rent the Roman Coliseum? Then the people of Sunland Park